the ranch became Ripple Ranch, which was actually Trisha's idea. And our moniker, our theme was to ripple out kindness, love, and gratitude. And so we had a community and we built a community space where we could have dances and breath work and yoga and all those things. And then that expanded and we were struggling to pay the bills. And so then we started to develop a wedding center. We accentuated the milk program and horseback riding. And all of a sudden, I saw these people, and we have a B&B that were coming to the ranch, and we were filling them up with a cup of love and kindness, and they were taking it and rippling it out to the world. And now I knew clearly what my mission is, and that's what Ripple Ranch is all about.
All right, welcome everybody. This is Marc Warnke from Ripple Ranch, where we are hosting the Wild Sovereign Campout. We're really excited and honored to have Marc on with us today to give us some details, share with us all that's going on with that land out there, this pristine sanctuary that they've created over how many years now?
We've been here 5 years now.
So to be able to see this vision come to life, I've known Marc for the whole time that you've owned that, and to
Hmm.
see the changes and everything really come to fruition is a beautiful thing to witness. Plus all the amazing, beautiful things that they're up to outside of the ranch. So Marc, start us off with telling us a little bit about yourself, all the things that you're into, and maybe even a little bit about Trisha since she's not here on the call with us.
Sure, sure. So, kind of my backstory is I've always been a serial entrepreneur. I've never really had a job. I've always just kind of created my own occupation. And this is my third homestead. And, we started out in the city of Boise on 2 acres on the bench. The impetus was because we wanted to get into pack goats and running with goats in the backcountry was my goal of getting my family back into a place that's very difficult to get to more easily so I could share that beautiful space with them. It's a sacred place for me to be, and to be there with people I love is, so important. And so that's what kind of got me going down the homesteading route. I was raised on a farm as a kid, so it wasn't new to me necessarily. And then we progressed. I went on to a property near Eagle that was 3 acres. We were bursting at the seams, and I think I was 49 when we began entertaining that we needed a bigger property. And so we looked for a number of years when we came across this. And what I do professionally is I'm a hunting consultant. I'm the guy you call if you want to go on an elk hunt in Colorado or a moose hunt in Alaska, that sort of thing. That's what's kind of paid the bills my whole life. And so COVID hit. We got really desperate, as a lot of people did, to figure out how to just make it. And at that time, I had a lot of goats and I was breeding goats for the pack goat industry, and nobody was booking international hunting trips when COVID hit. And so it made me get really resourceful. I had already invented a little bit of equipment in the pack goat industry. I literally looked at Trisha and said, if we're going to pay the bills, we need to do everything we can. And so we started selling milk, and we got into raw goat milk, and our breeding operation accentuated. And then I turned up the dial on packgoats.com and started taking that more seriously. I don't know, we 20x that business, within about 6 to 12 months. And that became kind of a sideline. Then Top End came back on, and then we were really doing well because we had two streams of income. And so it made being on a bigger property possible. And this particular ranch, I feel like I was destined for it. I recognized it on Zillow. I saw it come up on Zillow. I had been looking for ranches. We couldn't afford the majority of what we needed. We wanted to be close to Boise because that's where my boys were. And I still like to go to a movie and a restaurant. And I love living, rurally, but I still wanted access to the city. And so we were looking for things close, and multiple acre properties close don't come cheap. And so this one came up, and I recognized it because I had been hunting around the foothills of Boise my whole life, and I had always seen big bucks on this property. So I've literally been looking at Ripple Ranch for 30 years. When it became available, it was a number we might be able to afford. Long story short, we had a horrible offer. The owners of Ripple called us, and it wasn't called Ripple Ranch then. But the owners of Ripple Ranch, the realtor called us and said, "Hey, the owners really want you to put in an offer." And I'm like, I can't compete. You guys have a full price, cash closed 3-day offer on the table right now, and my offer is going to be garbage by comparison to that. And she said, "Just put in an offer, the best one you can." I was like, okay, well, we did. And it was garbage. 2 hours later, they accepted it. About 2 hours after that, I got a message on like Facebook. This lady said, "Hey, I'm the owner of the property and I researched you on YouTube and you're the perfect place to own my ranch and we'll do whatever it takes to help you to get it." So it was really a God thing. It was super fortunate to be here. And when we moved on, it was owned by an older couple that had difficulty keeping up with things. So there was a lot of things not proper and that needed to be done, and that's the reason we could afford it. And then we went into making all those things right, and it's been 5 of the hardest years I've ever worked in my whole life, both financially to pay for the ranch and to be able to afford the improvements. And at that time I had an experience that I went to my first ayahuasca ceremony, and that was a life-changing event for me. That's where it turned from how do I make life work for Marc to how does Marc make an impact on the world. And I saw the bigger picture as awareness of our universality and our role and what we're supposed to be doing and contributing and being mindful. So quickly, the ranch became Ripple Ranch, which was actually Trisha's idea. And our moniker, our theme was to ripple out kindness, love, and gratitude. And so we had a community and we built a community space where we could have dances and breath work and yoga and all those things. And then that expanded and we were struggling to pay the bills. And so then we started to develop a wedding center. We accentuated the milk program and horseback riding. And all of a sudden I saw these people, and we have a B&B that were coming to the ranch, and we were filling them up with a cup of love and kindness, and they were taking it and rippling it out to the world. And now I knew clearly what my mission is, and that's what Ripple Ranch is all about.
It's cool to hear that journey again,
Mm,
to get the start to finish trek, and even to know the deeper interchangings that went on within you and within Trisha, to really understand how deeply impactful this space is. You're not just someone we don't know that isn't like doing that kind of work. You're doing the work with us. And so I feel
mhm,
like that makes it so much more special because you like understand.
mm,
You're going through it, and that provides a certain level of connection to the community as well as what you put into the land. Like it has so much more intention. That brings up a question. You had mentioned the last 5 years have been the hardest it's ever been. So what was it that kept you going? Like, yeah, at any point you could have given up, thrown in the towel,
mm.
but now you're here and it's all coming full circle. What was it that kept you moving?
That's a really good question. There's a financial piece, and that all my eggs are in this basket financially. I've literally only had couple $100 in savings since I've owned this place. Every month is a struggle to figure out how to make it work. I felt broke and scared and anxious a lot. A lot. And for me, it's been both that this is my ability to live the dream, which is to have a ranch and have some land and be able to make an impact on humanity. But at the same time, I feel dutiful. I heard somebody say one time an explanation to their son why they love them. Do you know why I love you? The answer was because I can't help it. And that's similar to me. I can't help but do this. I think that it's just inside of me to have this peace and the awareness that came to me that I had a duty to it. And that's how I feel. I feel dutiful. We look at land ownership differently than most people. I look at it that I'm a steward of this land, that I have responsibilities because I've been given the gift to own it. But because I own it doesn't mean it's mine. It means it's mine to take care of for a short period of time in humanity. And I have an obligation to have the land be better, to contribute the energy to the land of healing and love and kindness. And I believe energy holds in things. It holds in buildings, it holds in people, and it holds in land. And the amount of people who have come here and contributed their energy in the community, I'm naturally an introvert. I have difficulty being in public settings. My essence kind of gets depleted in that, and I have to go rebuild by being in nature. And so for me, I've really deeply thought about what am I supposed to be doing? What is my mission in life? My personal mission is to do two things, and that's to connect, because that's not instinctual for me. To connect with people is work for me. But without it, I can't reflect off of another human being to be more evolved. We evolve through connection. And then that's the other step, which is to be receptive to the evolution that shows up through things like humility and the willingness to be wrong and to be curious and not think that I know the way, but that the community and people are going to show me that way. For me, it's been honestly a day at a time thing. It's get up in the morning, do whatever it takes to make sure the next day is possible. And it really has been a 24-hour, 5-year choice of every day choosing to stay in the game and not being willing to take the gloves off and mustering up the courage to fight through the anxiety that I have in the morning. And since I've owned this ranch, I've had a couple of times where I've had months of almost crippling anxiety where I get up in the morning and I have to meditate and cold plunge and walk the mountain and do those things to bring enough of myself to present to the world in a way that this ranch needs me and my people who love me need me. And there's some fulfillment in that. There's some selfish things with that, in that I feel better. I feel when I'm serving others is when I feel at my best. And so that serves me too. So it's not just all me being mindful of giving, it's that the giving gives back to me too. So, that's just the honest truth of it.
I just want to say that through the struggle of what you've been doing, your generosity
Mm,
has been very impactful to me.
mm,
Just being invited to come up, like I've never felt uncomfortable on the property. Like I almost am like, I feel like I should pay to be here because you just invite, like just to be able to
mm,
come up and play with the goats and visit something so beautiful. What you've created is so beautiful. And I
mm,
just feel at peace there. And it's so beautiful in your generosity to just share your space
mm.
because it does not show your struggle. No one feels your struggle when you are sharing that. And we want to share that back with you. This place feels like home when I go up there. And I was like,
Mm.
it's just truly magical what you provide. And
Well,
I'm
that's
excited.
that's really that's really kind of you to say. We have been aggressively practicing what we call flow since we've been here, which means I have a duty to flow it out and I have a duty to be receptive for it to flow back in. Whether it's tipping a waitress more than I should because she has less opportunity than I do, or whether it's allowing a mother to bring her child up to play with the goats. And for me, despite the fact that I'm crazy busy and I have things I need to do, to take a moment to be there for her and him and, put a baby goat in their hands or, help people to understand the value of goat milk. Those are like things I can't help. And so I think it's really kind of you to say. The other big lesson that this ranch has taught me, one of the members of the community one time told me, they said, by not letting people help, you're taking away from them. And so I began to realize that people want something to contribute to. They want something to be a part of and to allow them to contribute and put their time and energy. And so I've actually gotten good now at something I sucked at, which is asking for help. That's been always, it's still a struggle. I always feel like I'm encumbering somebody else's time or the energy that they're putting out. We only all have so much, but I've gotten good at asking for help and I don't do it too much. And you guys have been super helpful, and Shane throughout. I mean, Shane, you were there when I made the call that, hey, the creek is starting to overrun its banks and we need to fill sandbags. And you should have seen, we put the word out and like immediately like 12 people showed up with shovels in hand, ready to sandbag when the fire, was threatening the ranch. Trisha and I were up in the mountains and we were at Bergdorf and we came back to our cabin and there was a sign on the door that said, your ranch is on fire, call home. By the time we got the signal, which was like 45 minutes later of shit in our pants getting there, we called and already our horses had been evacuated. We had like 20 people on the ranch. A guy brought his tractor and started cutting fire lines. And I was so humbled, as I am always, at people's willingness to support us and to be there in our moments of need. So that's not why I gave, but that's flow. And that's the beautiful part of flow and thinking first on how can I contribute and then being receptive for the choice that somebody may have to contribute back. It's a really beautiful truth. It's a law. It's really taught me a lot. And I'm so grateful for this experience. And you're right. We don't get better when things are easy. We get better when things are hard. And this has been really hard, and I have gotten better. And Trisha and I's relationship's more beautiful than I ever could have imagined a relationship could be. And it wasn't because we weren't down at one. We were at one more than once. And now we're at 8 or 9 all the time. And I'm so grateful. And I wouldn't know what 8 or 9 looked like if I didn't know what one looked like. So I hear you and I thank you so much. I appreciate that.
It like really showcases the possibility of what community can really mean. You know, we've gone so far away from community in so many different ways. And like you said, you know, the ability to reach out a hand and ask for help, you know, that's a widespread dis-ease, if you will.
Mhm.
You know, that might be a
Mhm.
strong word, but our minds trick us into thinking that we're alone. To be able to witness that for yourself and have that space and have put out so much goodwill into the community that, you know, just shows up for you. You know, that's
Mm.
how this is done. You know, we show up for each other and it comes back. And that's kind of what we're doing, you're doing here with us with this Wild Sovereign campout, helping us to get this off the ground and have some legs and provide a space for the community to do some really meaningful work. We're being very intentional about how we're orchestrating this, and 50% of it is the land. Like
Mm.
that does the heavy lifting. One of the questions I have for you is a lot of our retreat is around the body, somatics. How do we tap into the innate wisdom of the body to heal? When people land on your piece of property, what do you want them to feel in their body when they arrive?
Well, the gift of Ripple Ranch is people can feel it when they roll in the driveway. And there is something about this place because of the work that's been done here, not by me, but by the community. And when I speak of work, the work of evolution and doing the courageous things that take looking at parts of yourself that aren't so glamorous and that we're ashamed of or whatever it is, and being willing to be courageous enough to lean in. That energy is held here and you can feel it. If I were to ask people to hold an energy while they're here, it's our theme: be kind, be loving, and be grateful. Because those three components together allow for an alignment where we can get to the highest level of vibration possible off of a human being, which is authenticity. And it's when we're no longer afraid and we're not being run by our amygdala that we have this chance to see people in a way that are more authentic. Our share is more authentic, their share in return is more authentic. And it's just a place you can sit down, put your toes in the grass, put your toes in the cold plunge, hear the horses nickering, hear the goats calling, hold a baby goat, see the peacocks, which are painted by the hand of God, and realize that there's so much more than just us. And when we can get outside of our needs and our failings and our shame and our guilt and our greed and our fear, all of a sudden we present in a way that can be open and authentic. And that authenticity is the way we're supposed to be moving through the world. And so that's what I would ask. Whatever somebody is the most drawn towards of those three, like, I want to work on being kind. That's easy here. I want to work on being grateful. That's easy here. It's like a practice, right? When we practice and we're immersed in that, we have a certain amount of time we can hold on to that energy when we go out to the world before we go back into old patterns. And each time we go into that well, it lasts longer and longer and longer. And we develop those skills, but we can't develop them alone. We get to practice kindness. We get to practice gratitude with one another, and we get to practice love with one another. In my opinion, the ills of the world are rooted in fear. And the opposite of fear is not courage, it's love. So that's what will heal the world. It's what Jesus was the greatest example of. And we have this capability to find this new way that we can vibrate off one another energetically. The neat part about Ripple Ranch is it's like this platform that makes that easier. And I think that's its greatest gift. Our communities, people who are mindful of their role in the world, that are willing to explore these areas of yoga and breath work and meditation and those sorts of things that I used to call hooey gooey. I really did. We use this term, which is holding space. And I've really tried to kind of define what that means. And for me, what holding space means is that I'm acknowledging that you have everything, every part of your self rescue within you. And all I'm doing is holding the space of that knowing, not to give advice, not to be there to rescue, none of those things. But I'm simply holding the space in an energetic knowing that the truth is within you. The person who taught me that was one of the most profound human beings I've ever got a chance to meet, and his name was Ewan. Ewan was a man who came to buy goats from me. He was dead on the table for almost 40 minutes. They revived him, they shocked him back to life 8 different times, and he had a very deep near-death experience, and he got to go be in the presence of what I think he used the word was an all-knowing energy. He's a Christian man, but that was his experience of it. I remember him telling me this really neat moment. He said, when I got to review my experience and review my life, he said he got to see all the acts of kindness and of greed, negatives and positives, that he acted upon and that rippled forward from him. But he said the part that surprised him most is that he also got to see all the acts of kindness and effect that rippled from behind him through him. And so he got to see the universality of all of this. And he also said that single acts of kindness sometimes circled the globe multiple times and went through millions of people. And so it really grabbed me and let me know that those acts of kindness and those acts of love are so deeply critical. But the component that meant the most to me was when he said that he was basically shown the truth, the full truth and nothing but the truth of existence. And he said he expected it to be shown to him as other things were in front of his eyes, almost in a movie setting type thing. But when that portion of the experience happened, he said the truth burst from within him. And it was within him all the time. It was always there. It was always available, but he didn't know how to tap in. And I believe that with wholeheartedness. I believe that we're a spiritual entity inside ourselves that is all knowing, all loving. And we have this meat sack over the top that's like an insulator. And it's when we get into these authentic moments that we get a chance to kind of scratch the fabric of that and get little peerings of that. And that's kind of what I've always used as an understanding of the statement, the thinning of the veil. The thinning of the veil is just the peeking in of the universal truth that lives within all of us. Things like your event and things like Ripple Ranch are those little scratches in that fabric that slowly open that up so we can begin to express in our truly spiritual sense.
Something I was talking to a friend about was, we're all transmitters. Our nervous system is that signal. We're picking up, receiving that information, that data, like you said, spiritual beings. But our nervous system is that antenna that allows us to receive the wisdom and that information to then flow with it. And in this world of being so overwhelmed and overstimulated and bombarded with so many different angles of distraction, our antenna gets very staticky. And we have a hard time receiving what that truth is. Things like these workshops, this camp out, being on the land, getting out in nature, being around animals, drinking raw goat's milk. It's all part of that nervous system regulation. It's like that intentionality, that choosing of something that is better for us. Just in closing, you actually have a few baby goats being birthed as we speak. You literally just hopped on the call right after birthing one. You got another on the way, probably more out there that are ready to pop at any time. As much as you are available to bring people up there to receive the medicine of the land and everything that you guys offer, why was it that you said yes to our community coming up and hosting this kind of camp out?
Same reason I love my sons, because I can't help it. It's my duty. I also love you, Shane. I'm grateful for you. I've watched you evolve over time, and you're doing work for the world. It's my duty to support someone like you. You're one of the, the definition of angel is messenger. right? We're only carrying the message. And the message is love. We're all in a different place, right? And there's so many different forms of medicine. Love is medicine, joy is medicine, laughter is medicine, dancing is medicine, sitting around the fire is medicine, a deep conversation with somebody we love. All those things are medicine. Our beginning has always been acts of faith. We had an act of faith that we could afford this place. We had an act of faith that people would gather in the Ripple Center when I couldn't afford to build it. It was a build it and they will come. So I built it and now you're coming. I can't help but to say yes. And what do you need? And how can I help? And as long as you're here to make a positive impact, it's like the weddings that we have. I mean, that's a beautiful thing that contributes more energy. And when people interact with animals, I mean, we're so disconnected. You use the word distracted, and I would agree with that. But the result of distraction and all those other things that we focus our energy on, what they do is they take us from the path of connection. Connection is the path. We evolve and we become better and more significant and more authentic when we're connecting in a real way. Our phones are our greatest enemy. And so, hopefully I see no people staring at their hands while they're at the event. They're present and, pet a horse rather than look at your phone. Go hang out with the baby goat, drink some goat milk. This is a land that helps to teach people the bookends of life. Ranchers are the deepest knowers of life and death. And birth is a beautiful bookend and death is a beautiful bookend. We get to kind of be immersed in all of it and have the full circle happening in front of us at the same time, contributing to the microbiome and the soil and managing water and eliminating erosion and having the land be able to have a steward enough that can allow it to take care of itself and fulfill its duty. And it's the same way with you guys. I'm only providing an environment that allows you to take care of yourself in a better way. And it's not my goal to fix people. It's my goal to provide an environment that allows them to fix themselves through connection. So your group and the people that you're involved with are some of the most loving and kind and thoughtful, and they feel dutiful to do that as well. I can't help but support someone like you.
I love you too. And I reflect all of that right back to you. I
Mhm.
receive as well. Yeah, thank you for your words, for your kindness, for your generosity, for making the time and the space to share your wisdom with us here and to, help bring more awareness to the community, to bring us together, even, the people that are staring on their phone probably right now watching this video. It's okay. You're getting something really good. So,
Yeah.
two thumbs up for that, but maybe go step on the grass once you're done.
Sure. Yeah. Yeah. Yeah, so I would say that you guys are fulfilling my mission. Without you, I can't do it. You're bringing the people. We have so many things to do here, whether it's riding a horse or coming and consuming the food or having weddings or staying in the B&B. All those are things that contribute back to the ranch because money is just another form of energy and we need that energy too. And I think we're in a time now where corporations have lost their luster. I think that big food has lost its luster. I think governments are no longer trusted. This planet is not going to be healed from the top down. It's going to be healed from the people up. It is going to be us who are spreading the word of love. I had my life forever changed in the first ceremony I ever attended when Om told the story about Nicholas Tesla and how it only took 400,000 people on the planet to change from fear to love to change the planet. And I believed that was doable. You're bringing 100 people that are part of my goal to try to be a part of the 400,000 that are pushed more towards love than they are fear. And so, yeah, hell yeah, I want to be a part of that.
Hell yeah.
Mhm.
Yeah, and the more we share that frequency, those 100 people share that with 100 more, and it becomes the ripple effect,
Yeah.
you
Mhm.
know?
Yeah, yeah.
So that's how it works.
Come out, step on the land, and be a part of the Wild Sovereign. Camp
Mm,
out and just be part of the medicine yourself. Find it within yourself just by being there. You'll see.
mhm.
You'll see.
You'll see.
You'll see.
Yeah, so please make sure you follow Ripple Ranch Idaho on Facebook. You can follow patgoats.com on YouTube to watch the live birthings happening, plus, learn so much about pat goats, life steading, wisdom around the natural ways we should probably be living, as well as Marc Warnke on Instagram and Facebook. You can follow Trisha Richter
Richter.
on Facebook. She does horseback riding. You can get your own personal sessions. She does group environment. She's an amazing steward of those animals. She's been working with those animals for a long time. You can go to rippleranchidaho.com to learn about everything that they got going on. Oh, there's milk too. It's raw, fresh goat's milk, and it's some of the best goat's milk you can find anywhere near you. You probably
Mm.
wouldn't want to ship that. You don't want to get it at the store. You want to get it straight from the teat, and that's where it's from. So get up there, get some raw goat's milk, and come to the Wild Sovereign Campout May 1st through 3rd. You can go to thecosmicpulse.com/wild. We got a couple different options that you can choose to join us at whatever capacity is best fit for you. Entirely sober. This is an 18 and older environment, so that we can keep that container focused and really dialed in, so we can do that deep root level somatic nervous system work.
I need to say that I am living the dream mostly because I have Trisha, and I cannot wait for your community and anyone to interact with her. She is literally a walking ball of light, kind, happy, smiley. Oh, she is an incredible lady to be around, and I'm so lucky to have her. She puts up with my BS, and she still loves me every single day, and she's just a light. People will love her. If you've never met Trisha, she is magnificent. So I'm excited for your community to meet her and get to know her better as well. I'm so excited for you guys to come up to Ripple Ranch. We are getting ready for you, and we'll have it beautiful.
Thank you all for tuning in. Much love.
Peace.